I've trained well over 1,000 people in my lifetime on any different scenario. Let it be in my old kickboxing gym, let it be my own shadows in the last 5 years from the agency, people in my private network, and some of the killers in my mentoring as well. And being able to teach people and get them to their best possible self, employees especially, is one of the most profitable skills you can have in business overall. I'm going to tell you why and then give you an exact routine on how to train your chatters to make the most amount of money. So let's get right into it. As I've discussed in many other videos on how to even get chatters, how to find chatters, they're the most important employees in your entire agency, but most of you try to automate people, which is not possible. You can't automate people. One of the biggest misconceptions. You give them the training, you give them the onboarding, and then you kind of just let them chat on their own. You kind of ticked it off in your head. Okay, I got chatters now. Yeah, you give some feedback in there if it's super bad. You try to maintain them, but you try to effectively automate them, which doesn't work. You can't automate low performers and high performers. If someone performs super well, you let him be and say, just do whatever, you do go work. That doesn't work because low performance needs someone to kick their ass, to be motivated. High performers need an audience. They need someone to watch and give them feedback so it feels worth, right? The most successful athletes in the world, UFC fighters, NBA stars, whatever, the reason they perform so high is because everyone's watching. They have an audience, right? If you're great, you want people to watch. You know what I mean? So you can't automate them either way, and not training your chatters right loses you so much fucking money because this is where 95% of your revenue comes from. So here's how you actually train your chatters. First of all, you onboard a chatter. He just joined your agency. What's the first thing you do? And that is basics by theory, rest by learning by doing. Meaning, you're gonna send the new chatter like a 90 to 120 minute video explaining all the basics. This is OF. This is where you find everything. Here's how you click to get there. This is what you're gonna do when you wanna do this. This is how you work with Creator Hero. This is what we expect from you. Do this, don't do this. The basics, right? Kind of give them a breakdown, an introduction, which every idiot will be able to remember that. You don't need to be in personal disclosure, right? It would cost you 2 hours per chatter, which you can't do when you want to scale. The rest, learning by doing. So in the first 2 or 3 days, you let them watch you or your other chatters, screen share, let them chat, give a live commentary, let them learn by doing what chatting even is about. Give a commentary. This is where we do this is why we do that. From then on, get them into their own chatting shift in the first week and we're good to go, right? No, because this is where the entire training schedule even starts. This is where the training gets relevant once the onboarding is finished. And this is where most of you stop training. This is where most of you try to automate them. I got chatters now. Yeah, nice, cool. But they don't know shit, do that. And they're in charge of either making you 20K per month or 100K per month. Where do you want to end up at? I guess at the 100K. So let's actually train our employees, shall we? Now, here are the 3 or 4, let's say 4 main ways on how you train your chatters. First one is daily feedback. Feedback is not the same as training, which I'm going to get later to. Training is something completely different, much more profitable. But your chatters need daily feedback. I don't care if you do it, your supervisors do it, if your girlfriend does it, if Charlie Kirk does it, I don't give a shit. You need to give them daily feedback for 2 separate reasons. A, you create a feedback loop. They get better every single day. Give them daily feedback for 2 months. They're going to be in a completely new position. Super important because there's probably 100 things they need to improve on. And by that, you can always give them little actionable steps. They're going to learn every day. Compared to if you give them feedback once a week, the person who gives them daily feedback makes 7 times the progress than you. But the more important reason, and this is the second one, is you create the illusion of being supervised. If your chatters know, and they know, you're going to watch through their chats every single day and you're going to chew them out for it. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to put in some effort, right? If you think you're being supervised, you right now, imagine there's a camera in your room, all right? There's a CCTV camera in your room. You won't masturbate. You won't pick your nose. You will just be like, logging, you know how it is. If you think you're being watched, you do better work. And if you don't do that, your chatters will be like, yeah, he doesn't watch the chats anyway, I could just do some bullshit. And once a week, maybe he finds out. This is why it's so important. And you should give daily feedback. You can send them a few chat examples. Keep them accountable. This is the main reason it's for. Tell them how to do it better. That's very one-dimensional, right? You just tell them, this is what you did wrong, this is what you should do better. Now, it gets more interesting when we get to the second of those chatter training methods, which is the actual training, which you should do at least once weekly per chatter. Now, how would this training look like? You sit down on Monday, which each chatter you have like a 20 to 30 minute time slot on a Monday. If you have supervisors, they should do it, obviously. While we're talking, let's say you're in the beginning, but it doesn't matter. You should do it on both sides. You sit down with them and go, okay, here is this and this check. You tell them, okay, why did you do it like that? Well, I tried to seduce this. Okay, why are we trying to seduce? Why are we doing that? And the chatter's like, well, because of this. Yeah, maybe, but there's another reason. Yeah, this also important, but what's the main reason we try to seduce? Well, this. Correct. Now, what's the most important thing about seducing? Remember, and then he's going to be like this, you're going to say, and yeah, this this. Okay, so keep this in mind. What could you have done better in this chat? You see what I mean? You are in an actual conversation with him and you lead him to learning. This sounds super gay to you, right? I understand. It sounds like a teacher in 4th grade. This is how you get them better. And at the end of the call, you're gonna say, okay, we talked about this. He's like, okay, I understand. Fuck, you're right. Okay, so for this week, let's set a focus. You want to set the focus for the next 7 days till our next call. Your main focus in the chats is to be more seducing. Do you think you can do that? All right, then send me your notes for this call. Then let's talk again in 7 days. And on the next Monday call, you're gonna be like, okay, here are 5 chats. Our last call's goal was to be more seducing. How do you think you've done? Again, this is how you get them better. Set weekly goals, set a focus, run them through the experience. Because if you tell someone, hey, do this, and they're like, yes, sir, they're not gonna do it. They don't understand it, and why would they do it? But if you really enlighten them, and this is the next point that I'm gonna mention, the art of teaching someone is an actual skill. The art of explaining something to someone, making them understand and making them wanna do it is the actual skill that most agencies are lacking. So, like I said in this example, if you just tell your traders, hey, this is shit, do it better. Yeah, yes, sir. And the second you stop supervising them, they're not gonna do it. They're not gonna do it. They don't understand it, neither do they care. But if you run them through call and you actually help them learn it like an actual teacher, like an actual coach would in kickboxing. If my coach would have just went up to me and said like, hey, throw a hook, and then went away, I'm like, okay, I don't know how to throw a fucking hook, bro. I'm fucking 12. I don't even know what titties are, okay? So if you would have done it, I would have never been the sexy, handsome kickboxer that I am today. And the same way, if you tell your traders do this, they're not gonna understand it. So you have to actively lead them there, and that's an actual skill. And this is what separates the high-level agencies with high-level chatting teams to the amateurs, to the side hustlers who just do it on the side. And the last most important point in your agency as a whole, to even follow up on that, what separates the big agencies from the losers that will go bankrupt in a couple of months, is to create an environment of growth. And most of you think this sounds a bit corporate, right? That sounds a bit weird. And this is exactly the reason you need it. You can't run an agency on zins and racism. You need to build it on actual systems and professionalism. Meaning, if you want your chatters to perform well, implement your feedback, be on time, strive to get better, and not just do the same mistakes over and over and over and over and over again. This is what you need to do. Well, how do you create an environment of growth? I'll give you an example. A, incentivize good work and lead by example. Meaning, if people go the extra mile, they put in extra effort, they do what you say, they do a good job, publicly praise them, send them extra money, say, hey, I noticed you did good work, here's $50, right? Incentivize the good work. They know if they work better, they earn more. A public appreciation, gifts, money. There needs to be an incentive, which a lot of people lack. And obviously, you need to lead by example. You need to be the most hardworking person in your company and also show it to your people. If your traders think you're a lazy fuck, even if you aren't, they're not gonna put in the effort. I wouldn't either. If my boss was fucking jerking off in the Bahamas, the fuck am I going to do? Do the same, jerking off somewhere else, right? So on the other hand, while you do that, you also need to punish bad work and be very strict about that. Meaning, a trader doesn't follow your instructions. You told him specifically, do this and this. If he doesn't follow it, give him a strike. If he has 3 strikes in a month, fire him or cut his salary in half, right? And you shouldn't give out these points once per year. If someone does a dumb mistake, aka being late, being unprofessional, not following instructions that were giving to him, he gets a strike, and you should give them regularly if someone does something bad until they stop. And you should have no fear firing someone, because this is the last point. Get rid of the low performers. Get rid of the B and C players. Because I'll give an example. This has been proven many and many times in my own businesses. If you put 5 high performers, right, crazy good employees in a room with 5 low performers, lazy idiots, right? It's not like the lazy idiots become productive. It's mostly that at the end of the week, you got 2 high performers left and the rest are also lazy. So low performing as a whole is way more hazardous and spreads way more than actual work ethic. So make sure if you have people in your team that drag down the culture, that drag down the work ethic, the standards, get fucking rid of them. It's not that hard to sign chatters. I've made a whole fucking video about that, showing our entire signing process. And this is how you create an entire company culture of wanting to be better. And the one person who can bring this vision and they can bring this demand in is you, hypothetical viewer. You are the only person who can give this energy, because if you don't do that and the chatter's gonna do it, are they gonna be like, hey boss, like quick thing, I wanted to kind of work more, you know, can you help me with that? That's not gonna happen. So you have to create this environment for your agency. And if you get that done and you separate your chatter training from daily feedback, weekly training, creating this environment of growth and learning the art of actually teaching people, not just telling someone how to do something. And if you follow these steps that I've said in this video, you should be looking in, let's say 30 days of time, onto the best chatting team that you could possibly put together as an agency and actually maximize the amount of money you can get from every single subscriber that you get. And in order to maximize this even further, you can talk to 13,000 other agencies in Telegram in a completely free community. You only have to click on your screen 2 times and click the link in the bio. And if there's one place you want to be in this industry, it should be being surrounded by 13,000 other dudes, no homo. So click the link. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.